Hello and welcome to part 10 of the second of the 3 weekly lessons about Oracle Jet. In this part we will learn about the technical nuts and bolts for setting up a Jet application to be deployed to mobile phones. You'll learn how to do hybrid mobile development with Oracle Jet. Hybrid mobile applications are like any other apps you'll find on a mobile phone. They install on your device and they can be found in the App Store. However, they're not written in the native language of the phone, such as Objective-C for iOS or Java for Android. Instead, you write them in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, and use a tool called Cordova to compile them to the native language of the type of mobile phone of your choice. Jet provides support for iOS, Android, and Windows as part of its command line tooling. You can use the Cordova API directly to try and compile to other platforms as well. However, these are not officially supported by Jet. Let's start by setting up our environment for doing hybrid application development with Oracle Jet.
We're on the oraclejet.org homepage. We go to Get Started, and instead of taking step 2, Jet create project name and then template and so on, we go right to the end, and we see that we need to install Cordova, npm-g for global install Cordova, followed by the Jet create command. This time, however, make sure to include the -- hybrid flag, which sets up a Cordova folder in your application structure. Include, as always, the template, and navdrawer is a nice starting point, and then specify which of the platforms, iOS, Android, or Windows, or multiple of these, you want to support. This is the starting point, and this will set up your first Oracle Jet Cordova-based, in other words, hybrid application. Next, there is a very important link here to the developer's guide for details on developing for mobile hybrid applications. Click on that link and you arrive on this page, and you see Start here and the link before you begin. And on that page, you will find the chapter Getting Started with Oracle Jet Application Development. And in that chapter, the section that is really important for you is Getting Started with Oracle Jet Hybrid Mobile Application Development. The process involves installing the mobile tooling that relates to the platforms you want to support, creating a hybrid mobile application via the command line, as you've seen, Jet create, and then using the hybrid flag, and then accessing the mobile device services using Cordova plugins for additional features. The starting point, therefore, is to install all the mobile tooling. You start off with definitely installing Apache Cordova. That is not optional. However, optional is the set of tooling that applies to your specific mobile platform that you want to provide support for. So the Android development tools and setting up the emulator is described here. The iOS development tools are described here. The tools for Windows mobile development are also described. And once you have worked through that, the next step is to scaffold your application using one of the different templates. And we have already briefly discussed this, Jet create, followed by the hybrid flag, and then there are a number of options: the template, the platforms. Notice here the names of the platforms separated by commas. Here are descriptions on each of the different options, details on each of them, and once the application has been set up, you will see something that looks like this, and importantly, you will see a folder called hybrid within the platforms subfolder a folder for each of the platforms that you want to provide support for. Android, Windows, iOS, there will be a folder for each of those. The next step is to carefully read through this section and follow the instructions that are set here. There are various tweaks that you need to apply. And finally, Jet build, to build your APK file for Android, your iOS file, depending on which mobile phones you are providing support for. Customization settings are discussed, and then Jet serve, exactly as with web development. For mobile development, there is Jet serve. You specify which mobile platform you want to serve the application to, and then that is done. and then you can see your application on your mobile device. There are various configurations and variations and customizations that you need to be aware of. This whole section is very important when you are doing mobile development using Cordova and Oracle Jet. There are also a wide variety of plugins for Cordova that you can make use of, and as always there are tips and tricks in the developer guide describing how to set everything up and how to use the Cordova plugins in the context of your Oracle Jet application. In short, this section of the Oracle Jet Developer Guide provides everything you will need in one centralized place for working with hybrid mobile development using Cordova and Jet.
In this part, we've learned the basics of getting started creating hybrid mobile applications. For your homework for this part, install and configure a mobile environment on your own machine. You must have a Mac to do iOS development. You can set up and build an Android application from any standard operating system. Once you have the environment set up, use the Oracle Jet command line interface to scaffold a new mobile application and then build it. For Android development, it is highly recommended that you run the application directly on the device by attaching the device to your computer and using a USB cable. For iOS, in general, the emulator will work just fine. Finally, with the knowledge you have now gained, you should have enough information to configure a responsive web application as well as a hybrid mobile application with Jet. Throughout next week, we will cover a range of additional topics, such as the composite component architecture and how to connect to Oracle Cloud Services. By the end of next week, you will have a good understanding of accessibility issues, testing, packaging, deployment, security, and more. Finally, thanks and congratulations for completing the second week of the course on Oracle Jet.